This is SelfWork, and I'm Dr. Margaret Rutherford. At SelfWork, we'll discuss psychological and emotional issues common in today's world and what to do about them. I'm Dr. Margaret, and SelfWork is a podcast dedicated to you taking just a few minutes today for your own self-work. Hi, this is Dr. Margaret Rutherford. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. This is a special podcast. I won't be following the usual format because this is all about an anniversary and gratitude. I'm a clinical psychologist. I practice out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I started podcasting about a year ago, but I began my blogging journey exactly 5 years ago today. So here's my story and my gratitude. This is a special weekend for me. I'm headed to my hometown to be with my brothers and their wives. On Sunday, it's the day a decade ago when my mother died, and then my father a week later. I've written about their lives and their deaths before. My mom, a dyed-in-the-wool Southern lady, all heels and hose, not a hair out of place. A woman who I rarely heard curse, but she would occasionally say off to the side, and I can't say the word because I promised to do clean lyrics, but I'd rather eat than cook. I think you can probably fill in the blank. My dad, a man who could tell a great joke, a man who loved his family and believed in giving back. We heard stories about both of them after their deaths. Stories of my mom making sure some kid in my class felt valued, or my dad not charging anything for a service he provided. They weren't saints. They had vulnerabilities. They did their best to love us well. So this weekend, it will be good to be with family. But this weekend is also important for another reason. 5 years ago today, in fact, on the 5th anniversary of my mother's death, I published my first blog post. My son always has thought that picking that date was a bit odd, but I thought at the time, and still do, that she'd find it interesting that I was going public with my thoughts and experiences. I'm not sure she would have been thrilled, mind you, but interested. It's been healing for me in many ways to write. I started by talking about my son leaving home for college, my nest ache, as I called it. I missed active mothering in him very intensely for a while. Blogging became my journal, and much to my surprise, people read it. Just a few people, I have to say. Then I got more serious about the whole thing and launched a new website. That was back in April of 2014. And that website has focused on mental health, midlife, and relationships. All the things I talk about every day as a therapist. And more people wanted to read. 3 years ago, I began researching and writing about perfectly hidden depression. And as of today, nearly 20,000 people click onto my website every month, and thousands of folks are listening to my podcast, SelfWork. Today, I'm launching a new format for drmargaretrutherford.com, my website, and a new podcast graphic. Both I hope you'll enjoy. My dad would like my new website because it features wonderful graphics, and he was quite a photographer. My mom would smile because there's a greeting from me to everyone, and that's good manners. I have immense gratitude toward some people. Jeanette Baeza Collins for 5 years of solid support and guidance. To Christine Matthias Farnham for constant enthusiasm and willingness to take anything on. To Will Collins for creating my new logo and graphics. And to John Crowley of Loudmouth Studio, audio engineer extraordinaire. Thanks to Monica Foster of Virtual Mojo for her work on the project, and to my office manager, Brenda Beatty, who keeps my practice steady while I try to keep all these balls in the air. This is a team effort, and I'm surrounded by people who lend me and you their talents. For the last 5 years, my friends have listened patiently to my moaning about early hours or silly worry about number of likes. That was definitely a stage I had to move through. They've held my hand as I've waited to know whether my work was being accepted here or there. They've celebrated when it was time to celebrate. They've handed me a tissue when I was disappointed. So thank you, my dear girlfriends, Dina, Susan, Keely, Kendra, Janelle, Rebecca, Melissa, Martha, and Amy, and my guy friends, Robert, Stuart, David, and Darren, and to many, many others who've lent their support. I'm going to risk sounding like someone at an award show now, so please forgive me. There are blogging and podcasting friends as well, so many that I can't really even count them. Melissa Schultz, Sarah Fader, Terry McGuire, Barbara Greenberg, Kathy Chester. Midlife Boulevard's Ann Paris. Midlife Boulevard was the first website who gave my work a chance, so thank you, Midlife Boulevard. Better After 50s, Ronna Benjamin and Felice Shapiro. Grown and Flown's Mary Dale Harrington and Lisa Heffernan. Margaret Manning of 60 and Me. Stephanie Buckley and Debbie Arnold of Arkansas Women Bloggers. In fact, that whole organization is fantastic. I've met so many wonderful giving people who've offered their advice and encouragement. Brittany Wong of HuffPost, the wonderful folks at The Mighty, like Ashley Kristoff and Sarah Schuster, Sorta Awesome's Megan Titz, the folks at Family Share. There are just so many. And then there's family. And I may need that tissue now. My brothers, Adam and Spencer, gave me their blessing to write about our family and tell me they're proud of their baby sister. I guess I'll always be their baby sister. Their wives, Ann and Debbie, write, text, call, and message their support and love. And there are my nephews and their wives, who've been there from the very beginning and offer comments and help from the younger generation. My Dallas family, Gay and Tom and their clan, are always curious and asking, what's up now? My son, Rob, he's always been tuned into his mother, and now is no different. So I come to my husband. I literally may have done 3 loads of laundry in the last 5 years. He has taken up all the slack around the house. He just looks at me and says, go write, go do your podcast, or pod as he calls it. Keep going. But the real message is I've got your back. I literally couldn't have kept on without him. So I hope you like the new website design and the new podcast graphic. It's my way of showing you, the reader and or the listener, how much I appreciate you. Talk about not being able to keep on going without you. Thank you for your comments, emails, clicks, shares, questions, and ideas. There have been hundreds of them. But I want to say one more thing. I've tried to model, and I'll continue to do so, that taking risks is worth it. It's easier to stay comfortable doing only what you know how to do or what others around you are doing. It's been good for me to open up, to learn new skills, to risk the ambiguity of not knowing how my words will be received. I do it because I believe in the power of acceptance and vulnerability. I've seen that positive change is possible. I've learned from the wisdom of hundreds of patients through the years. As I tell the people who see me in my office, I'm certainly not right all the time, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking. It is an honor to have you as a reader. It's humbling to think you've taken time out of your day to listen in. You have my true gratitude. There are many ways of reaching out to me. Please email me at askdrmargaret@drmargaretrutherford.com. Let me know who you are. Let me know what's on your mind, what you might like for me to podcast about. You can subscribe here, or you can subscribe to my website, drmargaretrutherford.com, and you'll receive a weekly newsletter with every podcast and every blog post. And please, again, you'll have more gratitude from me if you leave a rating or review anywhere where you listen. Thanks so much. Take very good care. I'm Dr. Margaret, and you've been listening to a very special edition of SelfWork.